We're on Route 161 in Cross Lake. Le magasin des Saint-Pierre, ici, là, moi je connais pas l'histoire. We're going to find out. St. Peter's country store. Right here. There it is. C'est ça la maison ici, là. And Norman St.Pierre is getting ready for an interview here. We're going to talk about his family and on va parler de les game wardens qu'il a connus à Cross Lake. Norman, c'est ta maison, ça, tout ici. Hein?
Là, c'est à Jules, ça.
C'est à Jules, c'est ton garçon.
Mon garçon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Le nouveau monde ici.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. 84 years ago.
OK, Norm, moi, quand j'étais petit gars, là, j'ai connu les Saint-Pierre. C'est-tu Garrett, ici, qui appelle ça, non, Cross Lake?
Garrett. Là, ils ont changé ça Cross Lake.
Ouais.
Ouais, les campus.
And we had a store, nous autres, à Saint-Agathe, puis
ouais.
T'étais là souvent, toi.
Ouais.
Puis tes frères.
Ouais.
Lawrence, puis Romeo.
Gilman, yeah.
Et puis, so,
there's only one living, Gilman.
C'est vrai?
Ouais, Gilman puis moi.
Il est resté encore par ici?
He's 88 years old.
88?
And he lives in Eastman Lockett.
OK.
Yeah, he's retired.
Puis toi, tu as 84, tu dis?
Oh, 84, 85, it's autumn. The 19th of October.
Is that right, huh?
I was born in 1922.
C'est que l'histoire de Saint-Pierre, ça. Let's go back to your grandfather, your father. C'est que ça devient, ça, là, ça a tout le temps resté ici.
Grandfather had the farm on top of the hill. And when they gave it, at first, when he'd go out to a farm, to a place, and they stack out a place,
ouais.
And that was theirs.
Okay.
And I was right in front of the cemetery there. So after a while, the state wanted to make them pay for the tax, farm tax, you know, for the house tax.
Ouais.
And he said no. So what they did, they put my grandmother in the wagon and they burned the house.
Qui a fait ça?
The state. Yeah, the people that...
Ben voyons.
Yeah. And after a while, he rebuilt at the same place.
On the same land.
On the same land. And he got Dad, that was my father, there were 5 of them.
Ses enfants, lui, là.
Les enfants, lui. And...
so we're talking about 100 years, more than 100 years ago, though.
Oh, yeah.
Il appelait ça quoi? They gave him land. If they would clear it.
Yeah, they would clear the land, and they were supposed to keep the land.
And that was theirs.
But the states came out, and they wanted to make him pay for the tax. And he didn't want to pay for the tax. So what they did, they burned the house. And they rebuilt the same place. And they stayed there all their life. And after that, when Dad, he came down here, and he built this place here. And there was a pasture of cows over there. They had cows. And he...
You see the power line, though.
Yeah. And I remember I was milking them. I milked more down cows, and I figured when I get old enough for myself, I wouldn't milk any more cows, and I didn't milk any.
So behind the house here, where the power line is and all that, there used to be the clear of woods.
Yeah, it was all clear.
That was all the field. Là.
Yeah.
Là, c'est tout poussé en bois, là.
Yeah. What?
So your grandfather's name was what? Do you know? Comment il s'appelait ton grand-père?
Holy cheese and rice. Rubadjki.
Bad Saint-Pierre.
Ma sang.
Puis ton père, lui?
Jules.
Jules.
Ouais.
T'as appelé ton garçon Jules?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So your father, là, lui, là, did your grandfather build this here?
No.
Your
It was my
father did. Did he work on the farm for a while? Did he?
Yeah, he worked on the farm, and mother, she was married to a Gaillon at first.
Your mother?
My mother. And the first load that he went and get a load of grocery in Clare,
New Brunswick?
Brunswick, and it was in the wagon,
Yeah.
and I don't know what happened. He fell, and he fell under the wheel, and he died coming back.
Ben voyons.
And she stayed with, she had 4 kids.
Now this was,
At the time.
where were they living?
They were living on top of the hill.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, near the church there.
Okay.
And they had a store.
Saint-Peter.
Saint-Peter. And they had a store there. And she stayed there, I don't know, 5, 6 years. And she met my father and they married. And then she moved down here and she opened up the store.
Oh, is that
A
right?
little store, yeah.
So your father built this here?
Yeah, my father.
And
built it.
he had a farm too?
Yeah, he had a
Les
farm
vaches.
up on the hill.
Ici, dans les vaches en arrière, there was a farm too. Il y avait plusieurs
Well,
vaches?
it was a pasture,
Okay.
just a cow pasture.
So what was life like? No, you're 84, let's say you're 14 or you're 12. Tu y avait des vaches, mais tu n'avais pas rien que ça à faire, hein? Tu avais d'autres
No.
choses.
Farm.
Worked on the farm.
Yeah, we had a big barn here, and we had our horses here, and the cows, the pigs, and
Chicken.
chicken, yeah, and it was all, well, he kept that, till he sold the farm, and after that, well, he stayed with, they stayed here. See?
Stay here, yeah. So people were like self-sufficient. They had most of their meat. They had all their meat. They never bought any meat. You
Yeah.
had it.
No.
Your eggs,
The
your
only thing they bought was sugar,
salt.
salt, molasses.
Yeah,
They had they had a big barrel of molasses
yeah.
in the store with one of those hand pumps,
Oh, yes, yes.
and the guy come in with their gallon, and she'd sell them a gallon of molasses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was from scratch.
Now, the store, there was a little country store
Mm.
with mostly food.
Yeah, and she had the post office in there.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, she was about 15 years old, and they sent her to school to be a postmaster, and she worked at that big hotel that they had across the bridge, the Dread.
Oh, yeah?
He was a postmaster, him, and he had my mother as a postmistress, and she'd keep care of the mail. And after a while, she moved here, and she moved to postmaster,
Okay.
post office here.
So where was this, did you say a hotel?
Yeah,
Where was that?
right across the bridge. You know that big yellow, you must have seen that.
Yeah.
That big yellow house across the bridge,
On the other side of the
the
road.
other side of the road. And they torn it down 2 years ago, and
OK.
they buried it.
C'était un hôtel, ça.
What?
Monsieur Guéret,
People from Caribou, salesmen, would start from Caribou. Well, there was no cars. That was in wagon
Yeah.
and sled. And they would come as far as over here to Jarrett, They stay overnight. And the next day, they'd go to Fort Kent, do their business.
Ça prenait une journée partant de Caribou ici.
What?
And then Fort Kent another day.
Yeah.
And they'd go to Madawaska.
Yeah.
A salesman would leave, let's say, Presque Isle or Caribou, and it would take him a week to go around the valley.
Cheese and rice, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, what a different world, huh?
I know it.
And this was a hotel. Enough, they have enough clients to
Oh,
keep
yeah,
hotel
they
going?
had the people that was coming from, I don't know, everywhere, so they...
Probably hunters and fishermen, too? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They'd stay overnight, and they stay there a couple days, and...
Was there a name to that hotel?
Jret.
Get it hotel.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
So she had a little store here, like my mother had a little store like that.
Yeah.
In Saint Agathe, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Du candy, du canard.
Oh, yeah.
Des biscuits. So this store is old here.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
how old do you think this store is?
That store over there, well, now it's, when Jules bought, 2 years after, he torn down the old store,
Oh,
and he rebuilt, he built a new one. See?
okay, they're the same place.
Yeah,
Attached to this house.
right. That was the main house here.
Okay,
there.
okay.
And this, they moved the store out, and they built this kitchen, 1933. 33 or 38.
That's all right. So Gary tells us that that hotel was known as the halfway house. Now, when we lived in Saint Agatha, il y avait la petite décharge, ça, il y avait la grande décharge. Over here where you are, ça s'appelle la grande décharge. And it's a thoroughfare between square and cross and mud.
Mud and cross, yeah.
Yeah. And there was a bridge there that was made out of wood for a while. It was,
Yeah.
and now they've made a new one, or it's how old is it? It's quite old.
They built a new one in, well, it's Alan Martin.
About mid-80s, huh?
Yeah,
Mid-80s.
Mid-80s.
Yeah. yeah.
So where we're sitting now was the store
Right,
with the post office.
right,
Tamera, Prince What's
yeah.
And your parents had 5 children, you said?
My,
Your parents?
no, my parents, yeah, my mom and dad had 11 kids.
Oh, 11.
Yeah. Well, there was, let me count them. She had 4 girls, 3 girls and a boy in the first marriage.
When she married your father.
And the second marriage, she had, we were 5, 6, 7, 8.
So they had 12.
Yeah,
Isn't that something?
yeah.
Moi, j'ai connu là au-dessus. So, you had. Norman a eu de la visite, là, ça fait qu'on va essayer de se reprendre ce qu'on était. So, Jules Saint-Pierre et sa femme ont eu 8 enfants.
Yeah,
Fait que ça faisait 12 ans tout cela.
right.
And I remember Lawrence, was he a game warden or something?
Fire warden.
Fire warden. I remember him.
Yeah.
Il restait sur la côte, lui. Là.
Non, il était ici, lui.
Ouais, mais-
Bon.
Out of the pont. Okay. And then Romeo was a salesman for Escovitz,
Yeah,
which is now today's Valley Auto.
right.
He worked for Harry Escovitz.
Harry
Yeah.
Escovitz.
Yeah, I probably bought a car or 2 from him.
Yeah,
Pontiac,
Ah, ok.
le fait là. Puis Gilman, il travaillait avec toi.
ouais.
Now I remember you coming to our store in Saint Agatha.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
selling insurance.
Yeah, that's right.
Was it life insurance or health?
Life and health,
Both.
both.
And what company was that?
I sold for Continental Casualty. I sold for United Life and Accident out of Concord, New Hampshire. And I also sold for Craftsman and Company.
Now, is this how you earned your living, that way, tout le temps, là?
At first, yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
Because I was just a little kid when you were
yeah, I
selling
sold
insurance.
I sold for 9 years.
Okay.
And 54, Dad offered me the store to buy. So I bought the store from him.
Oh, okay.
And I kept the store till in 1980, till I had my heart attack.
Oh, you had a heart attack.
Yeah, 1980.
T'avais 60 ans?
About.
Just about, but
Yeah.
the fits was out.
I was working at the base in the winter, see?
Oh,
And I had a heart attack there on the runway.
really?
And when they took me to the hospital, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks there at Loring. So.
So in the winter you would like remove snow?
Right. Yeah.
So how did that attack happen? You were working? You were...
Yeah. I had a sweeper on the center line on the runway.
Which is
And that was at the end, huh?
Which does what?
Sweep the snow. Ça balayait la neige en avant des planes.
Okay.
Et puis, I was at a park. I went out. I turned at the north end of the runway. The runway is about 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
3 miles.
Is that right?
And
Si donc ça?
yeah, and
Wow.
I started having pain. I radio my foreman. He said, "You think you could come to the snowplow maintenance?"
Yeah.
I said, "I think I can." So I drove my truck to where we were at the snowplow, and there was a pickup waiting for me. So I went in. They took me to the hospital. The doctor came. It was on a weekend. I was just lucky that the
Yeah.
doctor was there. And the doctor came in. He says, "Mr. St.Peter, you lay down on the table." So as I lay down on the table, I just went out like a light. My heart stopped.
Oh, geez.
And there was right away, I didn't see that, but there was maybe 5, 6 doctors around me, and they
Revived you.
revived me.
Is boy, that's a
Yeah. Yeah,
You were lucky, all right.
yeah. And I was at the hospital 2 weeks, and after that I came out, and in December they sent me to Boston at the Veteran Hospital. And there they catheterized station, and they found out that my heart hadn't been damaged. It was the main valve that plugged, that closed. So he says, "We're going to give you some medicines," and I was supposed to live 6 months, and I surprised him.
Yeah, 26 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, you worked at Loring in the winter.
Snow removal.
The store was
The store was
still open.
Yeah. My wife take care of the store.
Oh, okay.
My wife would take care of the store, and when I'd come at night, I'd go to bed for 3, 4 hours. I'd go back in the store till I go back on the base.
Now, you would travel every day to the base, which is how far from here?
Oh, I'd say about 50 miles.
50 miles. Every morning you'd get up and go to the
Every
base?
morning. I worked 2 weeks nights, 2 weeks days.
And
during-
let's say on the day shift, what time did you have to be there?
At 7 o'clock.
So you leave around 5.
Yeah. And we worked till, 5 to 7. We'd go
Around the clock.
around the clock. See.
Now, your store, was it open long hours?
Oh, yeah.
You had to help your wife,
Oh, yeah, I had to help my wife.
Besides working at Loring, you had to help
Right.
your wife.
Yeah.
So how long were your store open? How many hours?
Till we'd close about 8, 7, 8 at night.
And open early in the morning?
Oh, about 6, 7.
Yeah. That's in the winter now.
That's in the winter.
Now, who would come here in the winter? Was it fishermen? Was it who? What kind
Oh
of?
my God, there was always people coming by,
Really? Huh?
See, from 161, there's always traveling.
Yeah.
And it was more deadly in the winter because
Yeah.
the lakes wasn't open
Yeah.
for ice fishermen. And but the hunters in the fall, they would come, see. And
What do you mean the lakes were not open for ice fishermen?
the lake was closed. And
Really?
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't open the lakes until about 71, 72.
why? Yeah,
After I got here from Bangor.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, when I was a kid, we would fish on the lake.
Not in the winter.
Long Lake was different.
Yeah, we had fish cabins on the lake and Long Lake.
Smelt fishing.
Smelt.
Smell
Right,
fishing.
not game fishing.
Okay, that's right. We couldn't catch anything but smelt.
Right.
Okay, so I think all the lakes there, they could catch smelt only.
Game fish was not open.
No.
Now, how about the other lakes, Gary? Were they open for smelt?
No, they
No.
were open for smelt, but they weren't open for game.
At first, it wasn't open at all.
That's right.
There's no lakes was open
In the winter?
in the winter.
Is that right?
No.
Well, that's something new that I just
that
learned.
opened today like you, around 70,
But, Maynard
72.
Marsh is commissioner.
Huh?
Maynard Marsh is commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, Long Lake was different because I fished there when I was a kid. In
the winter?
In the 1950s, man, wait.
Yes, for smelt.
Smelt.
Yes. Long Lake was open for smelt.
Oh, yeah.
These lakes weren't.
Oh, I see. And so Long Lake,
Square wasn't open at all.
really?
Right. North Cross. Eagle
Bad.
Lake was open for smelt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Eagle Lake and Long Lake were open
Were
for
open for
smelt
smelt.
only
Yeah.
until what did you say?
I would say about 1972, 73.
All right.
72 maybe.
Then you could fish the salmon?
Then you could fish for salmon during the day and smelt at night.
It
Oh.
would start from the 15th of January.
From the first.
From the 1st, that was for smelt at
Oh,
night.
okay.
Yeah.
But after that, from the 15th, it was open for the salmon.
You know, that
trout.
was just lately, but if you look, Norman, and look at a little history, Corinne Daigle's father went through the ice over at Bay Cruz. You remember that? That's when he drowned.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was smelt fishing. And you could smelt fish when the ice froze in the fall,
That's right.
right? Because I was checking fishermen and hunters at the same week, the last of November.
Yeah.
You know, you're right about that because as soon as the ice was on, we would
As soon as
fish.
the ice froze,
Yeah.
you could legally fish
Yeah,
for smelt.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of ice shacks. I used to call it the yo-yo village, you know.
Yeah.
Today there'd be 50 shacks going out and it would warm up, and tomorrow 50 shacks come to shore.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times you saw just the smokestack sticking out of
Yeah.
the shacks because they fell. But see, quite a few people were getting hurt. So they closed the smelt fishing until January 1. And they closed, this would have been later, this would have been in the 80s when they did that. And they had the salmon and trout fishing and toad fishing started January 1. And then later, there's no fishing in December at all. And then now it's the 15th. They started this a few years ago. It was the 15th of January when it
Yeah.
opened up.
You see, now it's the 17th of January.
Yes.
And 2 nights ago, 2 trucks went through the ice in Eagle Lake.
Yes, very unusual.
And we didn't have any ice until now. But I remember fishing at Thanksgiving
Yes.
on Long Lake
Yeah.
and
I
skating.
remember when I
Yeah.
first moved up from Bangor, pinching people for hunting in violation of hunting laws, and and leave the woods in the daytime, come home, change up, and go work the smelt shacks during hunting season, and pinch people
Oh, yeah.
fishing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 15th and 20th of November,
Yeah.
it started getting a little ice, and the guys were out there.
Yeah.
There was a couple times picked up some people that had washing machine boxes.
Go away.
Remember that?
Was it open?
One was your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I've smelt.
It's a smell, yeah. And they get inside the little boxes, the cardboard boxes, and they'd have a gas lantern. And of course, the ice would be clear. So once they lit the gas lantern, and he'd have himself a pail he'd sit on, and then a coffee can that he'd put the smelt in. And when they turned the Coleman lantern on, well, you could see the glow from the ice just glow right up, and there's this little box sitting out there. And of course, they didn't take as rain time to figure out who was out there. And then if you'd walk out slowly, the ice would be freezing.
Yeah.
And it's just freezing. You've heard it, big noises, rumble.
Yeah.
So if you paid attention and watched how you walked, and you walk with the rumble, nobody ever heard you.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to the box, pick the box up, and you can hear the smell when you go in the pan in the bucket. Ding, 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 ding. You can hear that for half a mile away. It was comical.
On Long Lake.
On Long Lake, yes. There was several people did that.
Yeah, it's different now, eh?
Yeah.
Very different.
But you know, the best fishing for smelt was early.
Early. Oh, yeah.
Usually after the holidays,
Yeah.
the smelt were not biting as much.
No.
No, that's right. After Christmas,
Yeah.
things would slow down.
Yeah, because they were not biting.
No.
But in the fall, you could catch in no time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now Gilman, you say worked with you on the insurance, your brother there, and he's in East Millnocket now.
Yeah.
And you sold insurance 9 years. Did he sell some from longer than that, Lee?
No, about the same time.